I want to get over to this Ace Bailey thing and why I'm nervous about Daryl Morey being the one in charge of this pick. Because two things. Daryl Morey is on Twitter. We all know that. He has trolled Sixers fans with a stupid photo in front of a crumble cookie location, right? He got basically kicked off the Houston Rockets for saying something about I stand with Hong Kong, which was like a China versus Hong Kong thing, and the NBA got mad because the NBA has blood money in China. But Daryl Morey is known to be active on social media, which is probably a red flag for an NBA GM. At least have a burner account like Colangelo. Anyway, you got stuff like this all over social media, and Daryl Morey's an analytics nerd in the first place. And then you got other analytic nerds that are basically telling him not to draft Ace Bailey. And, you know, I went back to like some Sam Hinkie draft picks and why he made some draft picks that I think were terrible draft picks like Jahlil Okafor. But Sam Hinkie was also a what? Say it with me, analytics nerd. You know what I'm saying? Daryl Morey, same way. We got guys like this over here on Twitter, Carson Breber, okay? I don't see a path to Ace Bailey being an offensive star. And then he lists a bunch of advanced analytics on an 18-year-old kid who played 1 year at Rutgers. Lacks quick first step to create advantage. I mean, that's just flat out not true. Bro, where'd you come up with that? I watched a 3-minute highlight of Ace Bailey, and I saw a clip of him blowing by somebody on the right side and dunking on somebody's face, and the announcer himself said, "There's that lightning quick first step." But leave it to Carson Breber on Twitter. Ace Bailey doesn't have a quick first step to create an advantage. And by the way, he is a host of a podcast called Nerd Sesh. So we're at the point where we are admitting that we are analytic nerds and we're titling podcasts Nerd Sesh. I mean, bro, the nerds have taken over sports, man. And it's like an epidemic that's growing. This is the worst epidemic. This isn't an epidemic. This is a pandemic. Nerds infiltrating sports and multiplying is the second worst pandemic since COVID-19. We need a nerd vaccine because this stuff is just ridiculous. Badly lacks strength, physicality as a driver. Well, he's 18 years old. So badly lacking strength. Do you know who else they said badly lacks strength at 18 years old? Kobe Bean Bryant. Why? Because he was 18 years old. Now that would be just using common sense. I go to the gym 4 times a week. Who's lifting the heaviest weights in there? 18-year-old kids? No. Anyway, 19th percentile rim frequency. That's just a dumbass stat that doesn't matter at all. Severely lacking playmaker. Don't care. 0.9 to 2.2 assist to turnover ratio. We are talking about the assist to turnover ratio for a kid that's wet behind the ears. I mean, he just came out of the high school All-American game. On ball, lives off 2-point jumpers, but makes less than 40%. I don't think he actually makes less than 40% 2-point jumpers anyway. But anyway, I just wanted to show you how ridiculous some of the stuff is on Twitter about Ace Bailey. And I fear that Daryl Morey will have too much time to think about it. And if there's one guy that's going to bring analytics into play with this draft pick, it's going to be Daryl Morey. And so with the you know they're going to get a lot of trade offers. You know there's going to be opportunities to trade down. I'm just fearful. This is the guy you have to pick. His upside is the highest. Let's look at some other players who had some negatives on their draft report and went on to become NBA stars, because Carson Breber says, I don't see a path to Ace Bailey being an offensive star. This guy said that. This guy. Basically, NBA analytics at this point is 10-year-olds. Hoops Reference posted it. Well, NBA University posted this and said Ace Bailey's statistical profile via Tankathon, and they show all of his weaknesses. And Hoops Reference says, is this good? Now, I don't know how Hoops Reference hasn't blocked me yet. There's a rumor that he blocks people for disagreeing with him. I've told him 100 times that there's this thing called development when you're 18 years old to becoming an NBA star, which is about a 10-year process, right? For most NBA players, Jalen Brunson became a star at 27, 28 years old. So we're talking about a 10-year development process. Is this good? No, not right now. He's 18. My guy Sean Bernard then responds to NBA University and says, Ace Bailey's stats don't tell the full story. Here's Anthony Edwards' draft profile. Oh, look. Weaknesses. 3-point percentage, field goal percentage, efficient or estimated or whatever the fuck the E stands for, field goal percentage, defensive win shares, defensive BPM. I thought BPM was for mixing beats DJing. TS percentage, turnovers, offensive rating, win shares, defensive win shares, bro. Win shares. From an 18-year-old college kid, we're talking about win shares and box plus minus. This stuff does not matter at all. And so I said, AI, show me some tweets from before Anthony Edwards was drafted of people saying they shouldn't draft him. And there's plenty. Anthony Edwards won't be the only player in the league that feels this way. I don't know if Minnesota can justify taking him number one. I'd be terrified to draft Anthony Edwards number one. Will he put in the work? Risky first pick. My entire point here is that nobody knows anything. You can't look at assist to turnover ratio of an 18-year-old or offensive win shares or box plus minus and draw a conclusion on what he will be in the NBA. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and it is the pandemic of nerds infiltrating sports and multiplying. We need a vaccine for sports nerdery. Remember when, like, Doug Peterson kept going for it instead of kicking field goals, and then he would go for two in, like, weird points of the game, and we found out that the Philadelphia Eagles had an entire analytics department that was telling him what he should do based on percentages? We got to get back to playing ball, man. We got to get back to just playing ball, man. Like, stop with this. Calculators down. We got to get back to playing ball. Speaking of Anthony Edwards, he does need a big game tonight. If Minnesota needs... And he's only 23 years old, so it still doesn't bother me as far as who's the face of the league or whatever, because nobody was winning championships at 23 years old. LeBron James, Michael Jordan. I mean, Magic Johnson did, but he, that was a different time, and he, what happened? Hakeem got injured, and he filled in at center as a rookie and played, like, point center and won a championship. That's just Ben Simmons if he wasn't a loser. But it doesn't bother me that he's 23 years old and it isn't showing up in the Western Conference Finals right now. Well, he's had a couple good games, but to get these media nerds off his back, he needs to have like a 40-point game tonight, and I expect him to do that. But this is development. This is what people don't understand. Anthony Edwards being 23 years old right now and choking, you could say, in the Western Conference Finals is part of development, right? That's part of playing, learning, gaining experience, coming back stronger next season, learning what your weaknesses are, getting a dose of reality, right? It's still all part of development, but you know, people are gonna have an assessment of Anthony Edwards right now. He can't get it done. He's not the next Jordan. He's not the next. He's 23. He's still developing.